What is up, fans of the historying? We're back. We're back with more China. Vinegar Joe. This is where we left off. We're watching episode 3 of the modern Chinese history series by Epic History. We're gonna keep going. Last week the Chinese, they were fighting off Japanese. They were losing. The Japanese took over a bunch of Southeast Asian territories from the British, French, Dutch, and U.S. They've been poking the bear. They went and did the Pearl Harbor stuff. So we sent them Vinegar Joe. Vinegar Joe Stillwell, I guess. Let's see if the Nationalists can pull something out, because it seems like that they're between the Japanese and the Communists here. It's not looking good. I'll be quite honest. It's looking pretty bad for poor old China.
Stillwell regards Chiang as a stubborn, ignorant, prejudiced and conceited despot.
I mean, that's true. All of those things are true. However, the ignorant part really comes to bear when it comes to dealing with his friends on the other side of the aisle. Them commies.
The loathing is mutual. Chiang, like many, finds Stillwell's arrogant and overbearing manner hard to stomach.
Sure, whatever. Can't attract honey. Can't attract honey. You can't attract flies with vinegar. That's what I know to be true.
Further aid comes in the form of Major General Claire Chennault's famous Flying Tigers.
Oh, those are cool.
This elite squadron of American volunteers.
No, I'm sorry. Those things are freaking cool. Hold on. Let me go back. Let me go back a second on this. Let me go back.
Form of Major General Claire Chennault's famous Flying Tigers.
Dude, that's just freaking... I know it's really old and not, like, super high-tech or anything cool like that, but it's just, like, it's super menacing. It's cool. There's something in my brain that just evokes a sense of, like, divine masculine optimism when I see that,
This elite squadron of American volunteers has remarkable success against the Japanese Air Force.
Get them.
As the war goes on, more U.S. air units arrive in China, leading to the construction of several U.S. air bases.
Heyo.
China is now one of the 4 major Allied powers, alongside the U.S., Britain, and Soviet Union.
France really isn't in the game anymore at this point.
In November 1943, Chiang travels to Cairo, Egypt, to attend a conference with British Prime Minister Winston Churchill and US President Franklin Roosevelt.
Very, very interesting. This is the one time. Now, this is very interesting because these 3 here, I kind of despise 2 of them. Even though I want them to win, I very much despise 2 of them. The good man here is Winston Churchill. He's great. FDR is terrible. I despise FDR so much. We're dealing with... the economy is completely torn asunder because of him in modern America. And Chiang Kai-shek has managed to let China fall to the communists. So it's kind of, At least Winston Churchill, it's not his fault that Britain's new Britistan.
Chinese resistance is tying down nearly 1 million Japanese soldiers, and they assure Chiang of increased support, though in reality, neither sees China as a priority. Yet help is desperately needed. What remains of the Chinese economy is collapsing, with rampant inflation, corruption, and a devastated industrial sector. The nationalist government is struggling to pay its soldiers, who desert in growing numbers.
This is actually a really big problem in most wars, is that the country is going to have a very hard time paying people, and so, you're fighting for your country, but there is no benefit sometimes. If you're just not getting paid, you're not going to want to stick around. I mean, it's hard. It's hard to say, I'm going to go die for my country and get nothing in return.
Just as Japan
to be able to feed her
is
family
preparing to launch its largest operation of the war.
In this war, China is losing all the battles, but China is on the winning side. Edgar Snow, 1941. That's pretty true. Pretty true. Operation Ichi-Go! Kurosaki Ichi-Go.
April 1944. Japan is on the back foot against the Allies in the Pacific. It hopes to salvage the situation with a massive offensive in China to link up northern China with Indochina.
Right.
And destroy US airfields in the south that are used to bomb Japan.
Them United States soldiers like Cotton Hill are gonna go kill 50 men, fight the Tojos.
The code name is Operation Ichi-Go.
Sounds like
Weakened
one go.
Chinese forces break under the onslaught.
I'm pretty sure Ichi-Go translates to #1 guardian. But I mean, this is kind of an interesting one. Maybe go also means something else, but
Several US air bases are taken, and the connection between North and South is established by October.
Yep.
Once more, the Chinese military suffers enormous losses.
Those are really bad numbers. Oh my god. 6-1 losses at that scale. Oh my god. It is kind of insane though. 600,000 is roughly the U.S. death toll on both sides, the Union and the Separatist South, in the United States Civil War. That Ichi-Go, Operation Ichi-Go, had more Chinese losses and Japanese losses almost exclusively from the Chinese side than the entire U.S. Civil War. That's pretty
Defeat
wild.
is another blow to Chiang's reputation.
They got a lot of people though.
But when Stilwell demands that he be put in direct command of all Chinese forces, Chiang gets him replaced.
Yeah.
Yet US faith in Chiang is fraying. Some contrast nationalist corruption and incompetence with the success of the Chinese communists, who continue to wage their guerrilla warfare campaign against the Japanese in the north. But the success of Operation Ichi-Go comes too late to save Japan.
Right.
In the spring of 1945, the last major Japanese offensive in China is defeated. And Chinese troops counterattack.
All it really took is a couple losses for Japan to just have overextended itself too much. This is part of the problem. If you're growing an empire, rule number 2, growing an empire, after you've not woken the sleeping giant, probably grow in a way in which you can kind of fully coalesce all of your power and standing in the places you're in. Because if you're just throwing men everywhere to constantly hunker down and hold forts, you're just going to run out of loyal men. You need to completely overtake the population, completely change the culture, have everyone grow up to be Japanese civilians, and then keep churning that out into more damage. Because what you're gonna have is a whole bunch of occupied areas that once there's a little bit of weakness on your part, they're all gonna go ape crap and throw you to pieces, because you don't have the manpower to deal with all of that, and they're not on your side.
US strategic bombing of Japan's home islands culminates in August 1945 with the dropping of atomic bombs
on
Hiroshima
that's bad.
and Nagasaki.
Pretty big L for Japan right there.
Simultaneously, the Soviet Union invades Manchuria.
I suppose the Russians got the last laugh there.
Within a week, Emperor Hirohito announces Japan's unconditional surrender to the Allies. The Second World War is over.
And just like that, well, Russia has Manchuria at the moment here, but just like that, every one of the Japanese colonies, every one of the Japanese protectorates, anything that Japan ever owned or had, all gone. Gonzo.
The death toll is staggering. Between 15 and 20 million Chinese lives are lost.
Imagine having World War II, losing 15 to 20 million Chinese, and that not even being remotely the worst thing that happened death toll wise in that like half century. Not even half century, like not even the worst thing in 20 years.
Only the Soviet Union suffers more.
Right, because Russia's not competent.
Then there is the multitude of wounded, the refugees, and the destitute. The country will have to undergo complete reconstruction. But who will lead it is still to be settled.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That's the uh-oh face. Political power grows out of the barrel of a gun. Mao Zedong, 1938. The big bad man, but literally big and bad. Civil War, 1945 to 49. Guess what? Turning the Civil War back on. We had this whole fucking World War II. That is over. Now it's back to civil strife. Let's go. That's so awful, man.
Japan's defeat leaves a vacuum in China,
Right.
which both nationalists and communists rush to fill.
Yup.
From the Soviet Union, the communists receive Manchuria and captured Japanese weaponry.
See, the Soviet Union is interested in communism going on the rise. So, yeah, all of northern China just now belongs to the communists, basically.
While the US and Britain fly nationalist forces into northern and eastern China.
Okay, so not as much, but still bad.
In an effort to prevent open conflict, Chiang Kai-shek and Mao Zedong meet for US-sponsored talks in Chongqing. The agreement they reach is short-lived. As Chiang Kai-shek remarks to his aides, the sky cannot have two suns.
Very true.
In 1946, civil war erupts as Chiang launches an assault on the communist-held north, led by his elite US-trained divisions.
Right.
The nationalists make advances, taking Shanyang and the communists' wartime base in Yan'an.
Never, ever give them an inch. Don't stop.
But the communists weather the storm, avoiding major battles and sticking to their wartime guerrilla tactics.
Not good.
And in rural areas, their program of land reform attracts many thousands of peasants to their cause. In contrast, the nationalists have been burnishing their reputation for incompetent and corrupt government. Chinese industry and trade have been devastated by war. But economic mismanagement adds to the misery, causing hyperinflation.
Well, hold on. We got... Those are egregious. I mean, those are just stacks of bills, right? So anytime you have savings, it's worthless. Anytime you made money, you kind of immediately need to exchange it for something of some inherent value, which just drives up the prices of everything, which furthers inflation. That's why hyperinflation is so bad, is it kind of just keeps creating more of itself.
And despite heavy backing from the US in loans and military supplies, the nationalists are rapidly losing support in both cities and rural areas.
Not good.
In 1947, General Lin Biao reorganizes communist forces into the People's Liberation Army, nearly 1 million strong.
Not good.
Mao decides this is the moment to abandon guerrilla tactics and take on the Nationalists in open warfare. In a string of successful counter-offensives, the Communists capture territory, weapons and supplies, and conscript deserters and prisoners into their ranks. The tide of war is shifting dramatically. In September 1948, the People's Liberation Army launches 3 major offensives. In the first, Lin Biao sweeps the Nationalists out of Manchuria. The Nationalists lose more than 400,000 men. Only 150,000 are able to escape south.
That's so bad. That's so many people.
The following month, 2 simultaneous campaigns lead to the capture of Tianjin and Suzhou. It is a disastrous winter for the Nationalists, who suffer another 500,000 casualties and lose much of their best military equipment.
Just casually, 500,000. I mean, that's like an entire large-scale war for any other country. That's so many friggin' people. I mean, I know I've said this so many times, but there's so many people in China, man. There's so many.
In just 4 months, the Communists have won 3 major victories and driven their enemies from northern China.
I don't like this.
In the southern cities, there is chaos and lawlessness as nationalist rule breaks down.
And this is I think inherently the big problem, is that the Nationalists were never really they never really came up with anything realistically like smart and very. You need to be cunning here. You're fighting 2 fronts. You're not just fighting Japan. You're fighting the communists too. Because the second that war ends, it's going to everything is going to go right back to the prior conflict. Everything will go back to the prior conflict. And part of the reason things got so bad with Japan is because they saw weakness, because the country was already in a civil war state. They've been fighting each other so much, and then you have all the backing from Russia. You freaking had they not blown those dikes and they had a populace that was allowed to live and survive and just try to fight back against everything, that would have been such a big deal. The dike blowing was not something you hear about a lot, but that was last episode. They managed to they managed to really destroy a lot of their capital with everyone. The Nationalists really goofed. They goofed the pooch pretty hard here.
That spring, the communist advance continues.
They're just taking everything.
In April,
man.
They take Nanking, and the following month, China's largest city, Shanghai,
and Wuhan.
On the 1st of October 1949, Mao Zedong, chairman of the Chinese Communist Party, stands before a packed Tiananmen Square in Peking and proclaims the founding of the People's Republic of China.
So here we have now 2 Chinas. There's the People's Republic of China, which is the CCP-controlled China, which currently exists today. And then we have the Taiwan, or the other Republic of China, or whatever it's called. Let's see if they give us the name for it.
That winter, the last nationalist-held areas fall to communist forces. It's estimated more than 2 million soldiers were killed or wounded in the 4 years of China's Civil War.
I mean, the Civil War doesn't even seem like anything compared to World War II, but all of that is going to get real small real fast, probably in the next couple episodes.
Perhaps another 5 million civilians perish through fighting, famine, and disease.
I mean, that's why these things get so bad. It's not even because of the wartime casualties. It's the after effects and the effects.
Chiang Kai-shek, alongside some 2 million nationalist troops and many refugees, retreats to Taiwan,
where they
one of the
exist
last
today.
territories still under nationalist control. Chiang Kai-shek will never return to mainland China.
Nope. It's over.
Where Mao Zedong and the Communist Party are triumphant. Now, the work will begin to build a new China, from the wreckage of invasion and civil war.
At this point, 1949, they've been fighting wars for well over a decade between each other, between others. Actually, realistically, they've been in actual open strife for the last 30 years at this point, if not more.
Do you want to watch unreleased new Epic History videos right now?
I mean, if it's if you're watching this video in the future, you can already go and watch some of my other reviews covering China. The last one was a little long, and we went a little bit over leading into this one, so we will be back. This is a little bit shorter than it was last week. We're usually aiming for about 25-30 minutes, but we'll be back. We'll be back next week, unless it's already next week, and you can just go and watch my video now. We got the whole playlist up. You can watch all these things from beginning to end. Me reacting to all these, I've been enjoying these. We're at the halfway point. We're halfway through this series. It started in 1800. We've gone all the way up to, what is it now, 1949. So about like you got a little bit of time here. We got 1950s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and I think it goes a little bit into the more recent modern period in China. But we're doing modern China. About like mid 1800s esque, starting with all the century of humiliation, all that stuff. We've been covering it. Been an insane lore dive. 6 weeks so far. We're gonna get 6 more. I'm gonna be finishing this out. Do you want to see more? Doesn't matter, because I'm doing it anyway. It seems like people have been enjoying these. We've gotten quite a few views for a channel that's barely doing anything right now. I will be back next week on Monday with the next video that is already probably been recorded by the time you're seeing this. But, you know, we're going to be doing it. We're going to be doing more. We got 6 episodes thus far, covering a total of 3 episodes of Epic History series. There are 6 total Epic History videos in this series, so we'll be up to 12. You guys seem to like this quite a bit. I've been asked a lot more for this. Definitely let me know what other things you'd like me to do. Let me know if you want me to do more Epic History after we're done with the Chinese thing. That would be interesting. I'd definitely be willing to do some more. There's an American Revolution one. We got World War II, I think that they're doing. I'm pretty sure they have an hour-long World War I video. That would become about like 4 videos, because I'm pretty sure it's like an hour-long thing. I could even do Napoleon. Who wants to watch me do Napoleon? I don't know. Maybe you do. This has been very fun. We're going to keep doing more. We've got a whole nother half of the series, apparently, that's only going to cover like 40, 50 years. But it's very brutal. You know, you're going to see a lot of bad shit. There's a lot of bad shit and crazy. I don't even know if I don't know if they do. I don't know if they touch on COVID at all. But that would take it up to 70 years, I guess. So anyway, definitely be sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. Let me know what you want to see me do more of in the future. We'll be back next time. Ni hao. Bye-bye.